Hello, Jambo, habari yenyu. Karibu sana to my channel. My name is Sharon, aka Baraka, and you are welcome to Baraka Reality Media. If you're new here, karibu sana. Please make yourself comfortable, take a seat, and welcome to the family. If you are a returning subscriber, you guys are the reason that I keep coming back for more and more information. If you have not subscribed to my channel and you have been watching yes, and I can see you, you have been watching my videos and you have not subscribed, please subscribe. I keep telling you, the only support that you can give me is to subscribe to my channel. All this information I'm giving you is absolutely free. If you were to go to an immigration advisor, they will charge you, but me, I'm giving you this information for free, and the most you can do for me is to subscribe, to support my channel, share, like the video, and also don't forget to hit that notification bell so that each time I upload, you will be the first one to be notified. So I'm going to give you a minute or less than a minute. Subscribe, and then we'll carry on. Don't go anywhere. So like you can see down on the description in today's video, it is very interesting. I'm going to be talking about the rules that you need to know when you come to the UK, and particularly if you are relocating to the UK with your family. So you have found a job, congratulations. You have decided you're going to come with your family, your spouse and your children, congratulations. You are now in the UK. What next? All right, so I'm here to guide you. Now, there are things that are statutory requirement for you as parents to do for your children. And if you do not do, or if you do not follow those laws, the UK has different laws. And there is a law that protects children here in the UK. So there are times that you're going to find yourself in a lot of problems if you don't follow the laws to make sure that your children are protected whilst you're here with them. So number one, it is important that when you relocate to the UK, the first thing you do is to find your children schools. If you're coming to the UK and you're bringing children, you must ensure that you find children schools. Now, how are schools allocated and where do you find schools? Schools are normally allocated within the area where you live. Not where you work, because you could be working in London and maybe you decide to live in the Midlands. Schools are allocated based on your home address, where you're living. So within your home address, so that is the borough, it's called borough, where you're going to be living. The borough has its own local authorities, and you will need to apply for schools using the local authority of the borough that you are living, such that there is a requirement for your children to attend school within a certain distance from your home address. So again, you need to check the distance. When you make an application through the council, they will let you know. They will let you know whether your children are within the distance that they allow for your children to be. Usually when you make an application for schools, you put in 3 choices. So 3 choices of the school. So what I normally recommend is, when you settle, when you come to the UK, you know your area, go around, look at the surrounding schools that they are around there. Go on to Google and look what is called the Ofsted report. So the Ofsted report is going to give you information on how that school performs and if there's any issues that Ofsted has picked. And Ofsted is again a body that normally regulates or looks into employers here in the UK. They check whether the employers, schools, councils, different places are following or are adhering to the correct procedures in order to provide the highest level of service. So the Ofsted will normally have a report, and in their report they'll come up with either a rating of outstanding, which is very good school, or they'll give a rating of good, or they'll give a rating of requires improvement. That is going to be able to help you to make a decision on whether you want your children to be in a school that requires improvement, or whether you want your children to be in a school that says it is outstanding. That is a decision that you will need to make. That's a decision that I cannot make for you, but it is important that you go around, visit your area around, see the schools. There are many schools around here, by the way, but it is not all schools that are good. So I'm giving you a tip to look at the Ofsted report to know how that school performs, or if Ofsted have picked up on any issues that requires improvement for that particular school. And that is a statutory duty. It is a statutory duty for you to find schools for your children. The schools are free. You don't have to pay a single penny. If it is primary school or if it is high school, it is absolutely free. You don't have to worry about paying school fees, or you don't have to worry about paying school fees. It is absolutely free for all the children here in the UK. The only time you pay for education, and it is actually not education, is when you have very young children under the age of 5 and they may need to attend a nursery place. They normally get a grant from the government, which is 15 hours. And you will need to top up the rest, because 15 hours is approximately 2.5 hours per day, which is not enough, because you're doing a full-time job where you'll be working maybe 7.5 hours to 8 hours per day, and you will therefore need somebody to look after your children for the duration of the rest of the hours, unless of course you decide to work with your partner, and your partner can stay home with the children when you go to work, and when you come back home, then your partner can go to work. Some people do alternate it like that without needing that extra payment for the childminders or the nurseries to look after your children while you work. The other time that you pay for education is when they go to universities, and you will need to pay for the university school fees. Whether you're a home student, whether you're an international student, the universities are not free. You have to pay for them. The other thing you need to do when you come here, it is a statutory duty. You have to register your children with a GP. So a GP is a general practitioner, and it is mandatory that every child here in the UK is registered so that their health is monitored by a health professional, and they can pick up any issues to do with their health and address it from an early age. So the minute you land here in the UK, again, the GPs are usually local to where you live. So you will find a lot of GP practices around where you live. Go and pick a registration form, register your children, and register yourself as well. It is important that you also get registered with the GP, so that if you ever get sick, if you ever fall ill, your GP is going to be the point of contact. They do make referrals if it is not an emergency. Of course, if it is an emergency, you can attend A&E, which is in the hospital, but it is a requirement not just for your children but for yourself to register with the GP here in the UK. If you're coming here on a skilled worker visa, you will already have paid the NHS surcharge, so you will not need to pay for treatment apart from the medications. When you visit a GP, people who work do pay for their treatment. I pay for my treatment, and I'm a citizen here, and I still pay for my treatment if I go to the doctors or to the dentist. That brings me to the third thing: dentist and GP are different. Again, you must ensure that you register with a dentist in your local area, and make sure that your children are having a review. They normally get a review every 6 months, so don't miss those appointments, because if you start missing those appointments, then it becomes a safeguarding concern, and you could be visited by a social worker for not attending your children's health appointments. It is important that you keep to your children's health appointment, because you will get a knock on your door from a social worker if you are not following the correct procedures by ensuring that your children's health is being looked after, is being monitored, and they're being taken care of by those relevant healthcare professionals. So that's another one you will need to know. The other one, it is important to find a suitable accommodation. So don't stay in overcrowded accommodation. For instance, you have come here and you have been housed by a family that already have their own children, and now you have come with your own family, you have added onto that family, you are seriously overcrowded. that again could lead you into potential problems, because the law says that the children need to have a space of their own where they are living and they are thriving in their own lived environment. So it is okay to be housed by a friend or by a family member for a short duration of time, but it will be important that as soon as you're up on your 2 feet, to start looking for your own accommodation so that your children can have a space of their own. And as well, you're not risking, how it works is the housing providers here in the UK, they will look at the number of people that are living in a family, and they will allocate a house, of course, unless you have bought your own house, based on the number of people that are living in that accommodation. For instance, your family of 2, mother, father, and 2 children who are under the age of 10, you could be getting a 2-bedroom property. So you have now joined a family that is living in a 2-bedroom property. You have come maybe, for example, with your spouse and another 2 children. That makes 8 in total. That means your house is overcrowded, and that is a problem. Okay, so it is important that you know that, because you again might find yourself in problems. Especially, you know what happens? Children go to school and they speak some of these things to school. They tell school how they are living, the environment that they are living, how overcrowded they are. And that is how it becomes known then to social services that there's a particular family that is really, really overcrowded, and we want to know what is going on. So when you come here on a work visa, you will not be eligible to find a social house. However, you can find a private rented accommodation, which is affordable and which is big enough for your family. It depends on where that you're going to stay. So depending on the area that you're going to stay, the cost varies. If you end up in London, of course, the house is going to be more expensive than if you ended up in the northern part of England, maybe somewhere like Scotland. So you may find that the accommodation prices vary depending on the area that you're living. Even in Scotland itself, if you're living in the urban areas within Scotland, you could still find that the houses there are expensive, just like they are in London. So again, if you move out to the rural areas, houses become cheaper. It all really, really depends on where you live to know the price that you pay for your accommodation. But overcrowding, again, is a serious issue that could lead you into a lot of problems. So the sooner that you're able to move out, the better. Okay, so again, those are just the statutory duties. Again, the other thing I just want to add here, if you come here with your spouse, please, please, please do not fight in the presence of your children. Avoid all fights in the presence of your children. Why? Because that has emotional impact on your children, and that is damaging to your children. And not only that, when social services learn that you and your spouse have come here in the UK and you're having fights, it is called domestic violence or domestic abuse, and that is a serious offense here in the UK. So you will need to avoid things like that. There's a lot of pressures. I understand there's a lot of pressure, especially when you first relocate. You come and you don't understand the system. You don't understand how things are working. If you are used to beating your wife at home, this is not the place to come and start beating your wife. You don't do things like that here. You will get arrested. It is a criminal offense. Please don't do that, because it is a criminal offense and you could end up in problems. Not only that, you could invalidate your visa. You will invalidate your work because you're going to be reported. I really don't want to scare you, but it is serious offense when you are having domestic issues and children are involved and you have brought your own children here in the UK. Please, please, please don't fight. Don't. Find ways of resolving your problems, because there are ways of resolving issues here in the UK. There are counselors that are available. You can speak to your GP and say that you're having problems, and then maybe it will refer you to the right services. But please avoid in all cost fighting, especially if you have children, because that is damaging and that's going to cause a lot of issues for you. The other thing, and this is going to be the final one, I'm going to tell you, don't drink and drive. Don't come to the UK and find that there's a lot of cheap alcohol, think that you're going to party till you drop, and then you take your car and you start driving. You're going to get what is called DUI, driving under influence. It is a criminal offense to do that. Please don't do it. Hey, don't do it. It's a criminal offense. And when you land yourself a criminal offense here in the UK, even finding a job is going to be very, very, very difficult. So some of those things, you really need to avoid them. You don't want to mess your life. You come here, you need to be a person of good character, good standing in the community, in the society. Please don't be a person that is getting yourself messed up with the police because of making some wrong choices and some wrong decisions. You need to avoid them at all costs. Please, 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 please. And not only are you messing it for yourself, think about your children. It is important. When you're here, it is not your life anymore. It is your life and your children's life. And the UK is very, very protective of the children. They'll be looking at the children and they'll be wanting to protect those children. If you cannot protect them as the parents, then the law will intervene. And I'm telling you, it's going to be harsh. So don't say you were not told. Anyway, that's all I wanted to share in today's video, so that when you come here, you know what to expect. Avoid some of those things at all expense. Come and be a person of good character. Work as long as you're working and you're doing the right things. You will have no problems with anybody at all. All right, so guys, I'm going to wrap it now, and until the next video, guys, we say Baraka.